Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I wonder, though, if gay people from 40 years ago, how they would feel about how mainstream it's all gone. The LGBTQ thing used to be a little bit dangerous. Used to be a little bit like, oh boy, wow, it's a little bit taboo. It's a little bit shocking. Now Oreo Cookie is embracing the LGBT queer stuff with rainbow filling and stuff like that. What else happened that was LGBTQ? Netflix has a whole banner on their thing. Gay-themed movies. Did I tell you what I did last year? And I'm probably going to do it again this year. Although I almost got arrested, even though I didn't do anything wrong. So there's the cathedral, the church right down the block. It's called St. Bartholomew's Church. You ever see that church? It's a beautiful church. There's a little restaurant next to it. It's right next to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. You ever see the movie Arthur? That's where Dudley Moore almost got married to Susan and then kind of eloped with Liza Minnelli. And almost killed Bert Johnson, or Bert Johnson almost killed him. It's a great movie, Arthur, with Dudley Moore. The best movie, beautiful. Anyway, on that church, which I always think about Dudley Moore, right now, as big as the American flag is the gay pride flag with the LGBTQ, the trans. It's the trans gay pride flag. It's not enough to be gay pride. You got to be trans pride, right? So that's a huge part of it. So last year, I went up to them and I said, I showed them my phone. I said, you know what? Can you do me a favor here? Like, what? Yes, tell me, my son. I said, well, you ever hear of Pornhub? And they just looks at me. Yeah. So, people look at this stuff from time to time. I got to tell you, I've glanced at it over the years. It would really make me feel welcome if you put the Pornhub flag outside right next to the LGBTQ flag. What do you say? No, I mean, because, look, it's part of who I am. It's part. And by the way, look at the stats. A lot of people look at that stuff now. It's not like the olden days where you had to go to, 42nd Street. No, everybody. All right. We're talking everybody. All right. Everybody has access to this stuff. So I want the great big Pornhub flag. Hey, if you don't want Pornhub, I could be reasonable. We could put Girls Gone Wild or Penthouse Pets. Something along those lines. What do you say? And then the guy called the security. He called the little the pastor guy called the security, and I got out of there because But I wanted this. That's my point. Was look, this is part of me, but it's not me. This is part of me that I'm trying to handle, that I'm trying to minimize, that I'm trying to put over there. This is not what makes me me. I hope. Why is the LGBTQ thing? Why do they have to put a great big flag? We already know everybody is welcome. We already also know everybody is a sinner, including and especially me. Why would we elevate one sin over all the others and pretend it's not a sin anymore? That's the problem. It's a big, big, big weirdo problem. It's one of the many reasons why our society is going off a cliff right now. Full speed, and there are some amazing things happening to push back, but I don't know, man. And by the way, this is not controversial. The things that I'm saying right now are not controversial. You feel like you're flirting with cancellation when you start talking about this stuff in a forthright manner. This is the kind of thing, Tom Steyer yesterday, the billionaire candidate for governor, who's probably going to win today in California, was flirting with the trans teenager. Flirting with the trans teenager in front of everybody as his closing argument for the governor's race. This is the kind of thing that got you locked up. This is the kind of thing that got you thrown out of the race. It's interesting, isn't it? Now, not to you can flirt with a trans teen, but you cannot sext with an adult. Okay, right? There are certain things you can do and certain things you can't do. It's a crazy bend over backwards, twist yourself into a crazy wiener package to try to figure it all out. I can be amused by it. I can be outraged by it, but I don't have to figure it all out, actually. I don't even want to figure it all out. It's sick. It's gross. And it's temporary, I think. I don't think we can, not for much longer. Do me a favor. I want to just touch on this. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm pretty fascinated by this Scott Pelley situation. Scott Pelley has to be the most pompous news person in the world. He's a correspondent for 60 Minutes. I don't know what happened to him. I remember him back when he was normal. You'd have been late if it was normal. Here he is speaking at, let's see here. Do we have him at, this is at Wake Forest University last year. This is before he got a new boss that he hates. He's one of these guys who's always standing up to management on behalf of the employees. You know, go join the union or something like that. You're in the wrong business, pal. Everybody has a boss. This is Scott Pelley. He goes to Wake Forest University and rages about Trump. And talk about over the top. Talk about hysterical. You ready with this, please? You got this one? Yeah? Good. Go ahead.
But in this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear is reaching through our schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. The fear to speak in America.
Ooh.
Power can rewrite history with grotesque, false narratives. They can make criminals heroes and heroes criminals. Power can change the definition of the words we use to describe reality. Diversity is now described as illegal. Equity is to be shunned. Inclusion is a dirty word. This is an old playbook, my friends. There's nothing new in this.
What are you talking about, Scott? All that stuff was crazy. Diversity, equity, and inclusion? It's insane. You're insane. You're an insane person. He is an insane person. This is how you keep, though, a job that pays you, say, $10 million a year when you are a white man surrounded by liberals. You got to go all in woke. You got to go all in super duper weird. And the result is you barely recognize yourself. This guy's from Lubbock, Texas. All right, Lubbock. That's as down home as you get. But he went to the big city. The writing was on the wall, and he lost his mind. I actually ran into this guy a few times myself personally. Oh, why is he in the news? So there's a new boss at CBS, and he yelled at the new boss. The new boss comes in. He accuses the boss of wanting to murder him and all of his colleagues. 60 Minutes. She wants to murder this place, and you are her hitman. That's no way to treat the new boss. I understand the new boss brought cakes and pastries and stuff like that. He made an effort. Did you, Scott Pelley? So this is not new to him. He's always one of those guys who's sticking it to the boss. And those guys are, you really don't want them around. I don't want to tell Barry Weiss how to run her network, but you got to fire Scott Pelley before the end of the day. You got to tell everybody who's boss. Who the hell cares? 60 Minutes, the tradition of 60 Minutes. They've been lying about people for 57 years, however long it's been. Mike Wallace and the rest of them. I mean, give me a... All right, so here's Scott Pelley. This is all the way back in 2019. All right, this is what a bad guy he is as far as being a corporate citizen. He goes on national television to blast management. All right, and that he got in trouble. And sounds to me like he really deserved to be in trouble. Go ahead.
Well, I have you a question about CBS, your day job there. 18 months of scandals and shakeups at CBS News and the rest of the company. What has it been like for you and your colleagues? Now, of course, there's a new news president, a new boss at 60 Minutes. Everything's changed.
Well, we've been through a dark period of the last several years of incompetent management and sort of a hostile work environment within the news division. I lost my job at the Evening News because I wouldn't stop complaining to management about the hostile work environment. But as you say, now everything has changed. We have a new chairman of CBS Corporation, Joe Iannello, a visionary leader. We have the first woman president of the news division, Susan Zirinsky. And I've known her for 30 years. She's been at CBS more than 40 years. She has CBS News DNA. And now we have a new executive producer, Bill Owens, at 60 Minutes.
They're all gone.
It's all blue sky from here. I'm very excited. I know these people, and I know that we're on the right track.
You were replaced by Jeff Glor on the Evening News. Now Norah O'Donnell's replacing him. You say you lost your Evening News job because you were complaining about hostile work environments?
That's true. Several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I went to the president of the news division and explained to him that this hostile work environment couldn't go on for women and men. And he told me if I kept agitating about that internally, then I'd lose my job. And I went to his boss, who told me that he didn't share my concerns. And so, having exhausted the possibilities in the news division, I went to the chairman of the CBS Corporation, who listened to me very concerned for an hour, asked me some penetrating questions about what was going on. I didn't hear back from him, but in the next opportunity in my contract, I was let go from the Evening News.
Well, you weren't let go far enough. You let go internally, and you're going to go around bitch on national television about that. Hostile work environment, how? How? What happened? What was really going on? He didn't say. He was a little bit vague, wasn't he? So this guy with the big mouth starts to shout down the new boss, accuses him of trying to murder the sacred institution of CBS. What do you say, huh? You got to get rid of a guy like that. Can him right away. Make an example. Anybody else wants to shoot their mouths off about what's going on around here? Scott, perhaps you'll be more comfortable at the news magazine store, TV show down the block. Oh, wait a second. There is none. You got this guy right where you want him. All right. Let's not acknowledge Pride Month anymore, right? I don't want to vandalize anything, although I'm awfully tempted when I see one of those things. They could make it a federal hate crime.
It's a fact.
Best I just mind my own business. Like you, Scott Pelley. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Come on, children, your wife, come on, Dad. Put it, my boy. I have your face, mother. You're dead. Dead.
Whoa. One of the maniac protesters at Delaney Hall. Why do they call it Delaney Hall, that ICE facility? It sounds like, a dorm at Seton Hall University. What is that, Delaney Hall? You got to call it ICE lockup. ICE Newark. Detention Center Central. Something like that. Did you see the guy with the orange cone waving it in front of the horse like it's some sort of a cape that the bullfighters use? Is that what the intent was? The guy who just got busted there, well, he was busted, the one who was threatening the ICE guys. You can't do that. That's against the law. It's against federal law. He's 27 years old. Nicholas Scelfo is his name. He lives in Brooklyn. Went over to Jersey to have some fun because, rioting is fun. Absolutely fun. You can make some money doing it. You can meet girls doing it. That's a big chunk of this thing that nobody ever talks about. It's these pasty, skinny guys trying to meet girls and pick up a few bucks. President Trump nailed it when he said this stuff It's all a profession. It's a job. It's a job for these people. Cut 2, if you don't mind. Cut 2.
It's all paid for protesters. You know, you can see by the signs. The signs are all made by the same beautiful factory. It's a printing plant. In fact, I'm thinking about using it. They do such a nice job. These aren't protesters. These people are fake. They're all paid for. We run the finest facilities anywhere in the world of their type. But we have some horrible killers. We have killers. We have guys that have murdered numerous people in there. And these are the people they're trying to protect. There's nobody that runs a facility like we do.
Nobody who won. Yeah, he's right about that. We got better facilities than anybody else in the world. And the people who are losing their minds, well, it's pathetic. But hey, we're kind of used to it now. It's no big deal. We can handle it. It's fine. Let's see what else. Jill Biden is everywhere. There's a lot of financial pressure on that family right now. The Bidens, they have no power, and that's how they made money, by having power and selling access to that power. I saw a couple of fascinating things on this during this interview in this book rollout. Number one, let's see here. The denial. The denial is very interesting. All right, what she says here. Let's try cut 5, please.
Did you ever see signs that he was falling into cognitive decline?
No.
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 Truly?
No.
No. Whenever the Bidens are lying, they use this little trick. It's just they think that it sounds dramatic. No. And no further explanation. No. Here's Joe Biden doing the exact same thing. Sometimes it's in the affirmative, sometimes in the negative, but it's just one word. And they're almost always lying. Cut 8, please. Let me see here. Wait a second. Now make that, where's Joe? Yeah. Here's Joe Biden doing the same thing, the same little trick. Cut 6.
Nancy Pelosi have kind of put it out there that they're waiting for your decision, giving you time to make your decision. What I hear from you is that you made your decision. Are you still comfortable in that decision? Has anything changed in the last several days?
No.
That's it. And 2 days later, he was out. Are you going to accept the jury's verdict when it comes to Hunter Biden, whatever it is? Yes. Have you ruled out giving him a pardon? Yes. That's it. It's a very interesting little moment there. Hey, this entire interview, they don't bring up one word. Rita Braver is her name. Rita Braver's been at CBS for a very long time. You would think that when you're talking to a woman whose ex-husband is in jail for murder, and the ex-husband has come out, and people like me have come out and said, we think he's being framed because he came out after the Bidens politically. I think that's kind of significant. I think Rita Braver should have found 20 seconds in her 20-minute interview to talk about that, but she didn't. This is news, folks. The whole country has at least reported at one point or another on my friend Bill Stevenson being arrested for murder in February. He's still in jail right now, kind of in limbo. Cut 9, please. Cut 9.
Well, the ex-husband of former First Lady Jill Biden has been arrested for allegedly murdering his wife. Investigators believe William Stevenson killed his wife, Linda, after a call to police about a domestic dispute in December.
Delaware police charged former First Lady Jill Biden's ex-husband with murder.
Today, police announcing Linda's husband, Bill Stevenson, has been indicted on a charge of first-degree murder.
This picture of Linda Stevenson posted on her obituary, her husband, Bill Stevenson, not mentioned anywhere.
Wow. How about that one? We won't bother Jill about that. We just, no. Jill needed to be asked this question, and there she is in plain sight. Nobody, I realized no one's going to come to our rescue. No one is going to help us. No one is going to tell the truth for us. We have to do it ourselves. I kind of made peace with Mike Pence just a little bit. Mike Pence being the former vice president of the United States, who is a total jerk, by the way, doesn't realize how lucky he was, really should just, a lot of things he did that was wrong. The January 6th stuff, where he played footsie with MAGA, at the same time playing footsie with the swamp, and not doing anything that he could have done on January 6th. At the very least he could have done is say out loud that he did not believe he had that authority and just leave it at that. A lot of people wouldn't have showed up on January 6th if he said, I am just going to ratify the electoral votes. That is not my role. You can make that position. We may disagree with that position, but you can have that position. All you had to do was say it out loud, but he didn't. And that's why people came and there was a big problem. Cut 11, if you don't mind. Cut 11.
There's also been a willingness to embrace some of the rhetoric of the populist right with regard to isolationism. There are voices that have pulled us back from unwavering support as leader of the free world, particularly in Eastern Europe, and even many challenging our support for Israel. And then lastly, just marginalizing the right to life, which has always been at the center of our movement.
Marginalizing the right to life. Donald Trump marginalized the right to life. Mike Pence, how dare you? I mean, Roe v. Wade would still be the law of the land if it wasn't for President Trump. It is totally reasonable. Hey, this is a states thing. We're going to let the states do it. It's about as good a compromise as we can get there, Mike. And Mike, for him to do that, I think is really, really low and inaccurate and ungrateful and a lot of other things. But hey, he wanted to write a book and he wanted to go on these shows. Now, there's one other moment here where I kind of do make peace with Mike Pence. He's got his beef with MAGA, but the way he put it, they want everybody to dump on Ken Paxton, the Republican in Texas, running for Senate against that maniac Tallarico. And Mike Pence has his beef with MAGA. Okay, but listen to how he kind of brought it full circle. I actually can live with this. Mike Pence, cut 12.
Bottom line, Mr. Vice President, do you support Ken Paxton?
Well, I could never, if I was voting in Texas, I could never vote for the Democrat nominee, Tallarico, who is a radical left, supports abortion on demand.
But do you support Ken Paxton?
Gender ideology of the Democratic Party? Look, I think in many respects, Republicans have lost our way, but Democrats have lost their mind. And I think the reason why we're going to hold the Senate, and we have a real shot to hold the House, is because of the extremism on the Democratic side.
Good for Mike. Good for Mike. You know what? You redeemed a lot right there. And then shows up Andy Beshear, Beshear. I never heard of this guy until like 2 days ago. He is the governor of Kentucky. So what? Oh, he's like, I'm a Democrat who can win a red state. I don't think you're very special. And what he said about Mike Pence right there, that was a very effective answer. And in its own way, it was gentlemanly. It was gentlemanly. Did he attack Tallarico as a person? Did he throw rocks and bottles at him and sticks and whatnot? No. He just said, look, the guy is a radical, and he is. When you think there are 6 genders, and when the first thought that pops into your head when you're asked, and you say trans kids, you're not right for Texas. Don't mess with Texas. You ever been to Texas? Sometimes I'm a little bit surprised that people have such pride in Texas, It's just this big, flat place that goes on forever. It's hot. It's crowded. I don't get it. But people down there, Texas. Teja. Now listen to Andy Beshear here. Andy thinks he's being cute. Wrong. He's using faith as a weapon against the faithful. That ain't going to work. In Texas or right here in New York City. Cut 13.
We heard it from Mike Pence, too, when asked about a corrupt candidate in Ken Paxton and whether he could support him. All he did is turn and attack Democrats. That's not very Christian of him, but it's also not a very good strategy.
How is that not very Christian of him? How's that not very Christian? What do you think? This is a little trick that the enemy plays. They try to neutralize Christians. They try to say, oh, wow, that's not very Christian. You're supposed to be, what? With your hands folded, pious against the wall, just saying, no, we got to be peaceful like doves, but wise like serpents. Don't take us for, and we have the ability to discern, and we got to shoot our mouths off in the public square. Absolutely. What's this other thing here? Andy Beshear. I don't know why this guy thinks he can be president. I guess some people on the left are pushing him, because they got some very, very low-life characters. Again, who is he? He's the governor of Kentucky. I don't even think he's 50 years old. He's in his 40s. This guy thinks he can be my president. Get lost, pal. That's another little test. Like, you think you can be president of me? Andy Bashir. Let's see what else about this guy. Listen to this part. He's really high on his own supply. Cut 13, if you don't mind. No, make it 14. Yeah, 14.
The American people are struggling. The price of gas impacts everything in our economy, but if you're in middle America, it's the price of diesel.
If the midterms were held today, who do you think would win?
Democrats win the House, though I don't know by how much, given this crazy redistricting we are seeing. It's a problem.
You haven't ruled out running for president.
I am who I am. And if I'm the person for the moment that can heal this country, it's something I'll consider. If I'm not, that's okay with me.
Wow. That's a relief, because I thought he'd be just inconsolable if we didn't turn to him to be the president. That's okay with me. What a regular guy. Let's see here. Andy Graham Bashir. He was born in 1977. Some guy born in 1977 is going to be my president? I don't think so. 63rd governor of Kentucky. What did he do with his life? Attorney General of Kentucky for 3 years. So what? Who are these people? Why do we have the bottom of the barrel? We want people with skill. This guy doesn't have skill. This guy doesn't have anything he can bring to the table to help you, to help me, to help people. He's got ambition, but he's okay if he loses this time. He's okay with that. You're hearing about the Knicks. It's a very exciting thing. It is. What's the guy's name who brought them? Jalen, right? Jalen Brunson. Apparently he's not very big. He's not very fast, but he's a genius when it comes to the basketball. He's a genius. His dad was a coach, taught him everything there is to know about basketball. And also, like, even when he's up against a bigger guy, he's got so many little tricks and little things in his repertoire that he can turn to. What I like about him, I didn't realize, they got him for a bargain. Guess how much he signed his contract for when they got him a couple of years ago? $104 million. And that was considered a bargain. The star players get like twice that, which is, I didn't know that happened in basketball. So anyway, good for the Knicks. I like it. I remember Bill Bradley. I remember Dave DeBusschere. He lived right down the block from me. These guys were not like gigantic. I mean, they were tall, but they weren't like ginormous guys like they have today, and big, 300 pounds, huge. Everyone's trying to go to a Knick game, including President Trump, although he doesn't have to pull too hard on the strings. Jim Dolan is inviting him there, and he might show up tomorrow night. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, there's a new guy we should get familiar with. I've heard about him before. His name is Bill Pulte, B-U-L-T-E. Who the hell is he? Well, he's a very smart guy. He's a builder. He's not yet 40 years old. He is from Florida. He went into the construction building / venture capital business. He's very rich, very effective. He worked in construction in high school and in college. Struck it very, very big. He's worth $200 million, primarily through construction and a little bit the VC, venture capital stuff. He joined Mar-a-Lago, got to know President Trump. President Trump put him in the housing authority, the HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development. It's a very interesting thing, what you can do in life. I bet he didn't want that job. He's like the Deputy Inspector General of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. How many people who gave big money to President Trump want that job? Okay, nobody wants that job. They want to be ambassador to France. They want to be secretary of some big department. They don't want to work in the Inspector General's office, a sub-cabinet, this, that, or the other thing. Well, William Pulte made the best of it. He started writing up referrals, sending them to the Justice Department. He looked into things like Tish James and her crazy loans on that house down there in Virginia, Adam Schiff and his shenanigans. And he started making these criminal referrals to the Department of Justice. It got President Trump's attention, and now he will be the Director of National Intelligence. That is a big jump. And a lot of people will be grumbling, well, he has no experience in intelligence. You know, he's intelligent, actually. That's a lot. There's a lot more going on there. You're not supposed to be this government bureaucrat hand who's been at it for decades, who knows the way of the swamp. We want to change the swamp. We really do want it drained. Hey, by the way, did you see Jill Biden when she gave a tour of her house? They have their own swamp. They have their own personal swamp in Delaware. It's like the horrible, the Blue Lagoon. It just looks terrible. A big, swampy mosquito fest right behind their house. The house is pretty impressive. The house looks like it looks like a billionaire lives there. And you never know with Joe. You never know. All right. So she's out there trying to sell the book. She has disgraced herself, absolutely disgraced herself. She never should have put her husband in that position. They knew that Joe Biden couldn't handle the job all the way back in 2017. When he had just left the vice presidency, he was finished. He didn't know anything. Are we ready with the new, here she is on MSNBC this morning. This is not going well for her. Today is her book drop. The book comes out today. Jill Biden's memoir. I will pick it up. You don't bother. Please don't bother. But I love getting these things and finding all the mistakes and finding all the lies. And I'll give him credit. Well, I can't give him credit. You know why they're picking on her? She has no power. She can't hurt them. That's what they're thinking about. Oh, she's the former first lady. Now we can push her around. I'd be surprised if they even call her Dr. Biden. I bet they do it first, and then they let that slip. That's a big thing with her. It's a real good way to, hey, Jill, how are you? Or call her Mrs. Biden. Dr. Jill Biden. Go ahead if you don't mind, please.
Dr. Jill Biden has made headlines this week ahead of the release of her new memoir titled View from the East Wing, which is out today. In it, Dr. Biden chronicles her tenure as First Lady, balancing her public duties with her personal career. She also offers her candid take and behind-the-scenes details of the turbulent final months of her husband Joe Biden's presidency. And Dr. Jill Biden joins us now. Dr. Biden, good morning. Congratulations on the book.
Well, thank you.
We were just talking about this balance of yours being a teacher, as you have been for most of your life.
40 years.
40 years as a teacher, and how you detail in this book that balance really showing itself in moments like teaching a Zoom class on the eve of your husband's inauguration.
You know, in defense of Jill, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who is this guy that they have? Willie? Is that his name? Yeah, it's Willie. Willie, shut your mouth. Get her talking. You know what I mean? Warm her up a little bit. You're asking her an essay question. How long is he talking? The weirdo intro, and then he asks her an essay question. They're all showing off. Let the woman speak. All right, go ahead.
In January of 2021. And then, of course, insisting on keeping your position even as First Lady. Why was all of that so important to you?
Well, you know, I had to be true to myself. I mean, I worked so hard to get my degrees, and took me 15 years to get 2 masters and a doctorate. And that was my life. That was my passion. That's who I am. And so when we got into the White House, I said, you know, I'm going to continue to teach. And they said, I don't know. Are you sure it's going to be really tough? And I said, I'm going to do it, so you better figure it out.
Were some of your own students surprised to see you still in classrooms?
You know, my students are just so cool. I mean, they just took it in their stride. You know, the first day when they come through and they had to put their book bag through the magnetometer, they were, you know, like, what? What are we doing this for?
They're always bragging about their security. They always brag about it. Oh, look at me. I'm so important. I'm the first lady. I have security. You got to put your book bag through a magnetometer because I'm so important, because you might try to assassinate me. This is another trick that the swamp uses to own these people. I know that. Very few other people know that, but I know that. All right, more when we come back. Many thanks.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.